Hey guys, Bukkit29 here. Welcome to episode number 33 of my Bukkit plugin coding tutorials. In this episode, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a chest GUI where you can, when you trigger with an item or a command and you get an inventory open with different items, and clicking on the item will trigger some kind of an event. Before we continue, 1.6.2 has come out, and you can download the 1.6.2 version of CraftBukkit, which I did, and you're going to want to do that. And it's still development build, but you need to download Bukkit for 1.6.2, or else you will not be able to test if you already upgraded. The second thing is, I am coming up on my 300 subscriber milestone, and in honor of that, I am going to do a video once I hit 300, basically where I answer any questions. So if you guys are interested, send an email to pogostick29dev@gmail.com. That's pogostick29dev@gmail.com. Just send any question. They can be personal questions. They can be questions about coding. If they are suggestions for episodes, I will not share them, but I will add them to my notes. So if I get a few questions by the time I hit 300 subs, I will make a video, just talking about all the questions and whatever. So, let's get right into this. I have clips open, and we're going to go ahead and make a new project, and we will call this menu inv for inventory. And I'm going to make my new package, menu inv. And I'm going to make my new class, menu inv. Okay, so I'm going to have this as two different classes. One of them will be the main class, which will have the on enable and the events or commands or whatever. And the other class is going to represent the menu. Now, the way I'm going to do this is that there is only one menu, but you could potentially, make it so that you could have multiple menus, and they can be triggered differently. You could even do this with a configuration file. That would take much longer, so I'm not going to do that right now. So what we're going to want to do is, let's say that we're going to make a menu that will change your game mode, and when you right click or when you toggle the menu, bring it up, it will show three items, one representing creative, one representing survival, and one representing adventure mode. And when you click on one, it will change your game mode. So within our menu class, we need to have a private item stack, for creative, survival, and adventure. And it's an item stack. I need to add Bukkit. It is an item stack because, it's going to be an item. So add Bukkit and import org.bukkit.inv. Okay. So that is going to be our three item stacks. Then we are going to also have a, before this even, a private inventory inv. And go ahead and import inventory. Then we're going to have our public menu. This is our class constructor, and this can be helpful because if you have multiple menu classes, then you can, have different constructors and whatever. But basically, in the menu inv, I'm going to have an instance of the menu class, so whatever's in here will be called. So first of all, we want to say inv equals bukkit.getServer.create inventory, and you're going to want to give it, the first argument is null. This represents the inventory holder, but we don't want to have one. It's just, the server. Then the second one, you can do inventory type dot, and you can actually choose what you want to show them. So you don't need to just show them an inventory. You could show them a dropper inventory, a dispenser inventory, whatever. But in this case, I believe that what we're going to want to do is put in a number there. I believe in this case it is 9. Let me just take a look in here. Oh, yes. And then we want to give it a string, which we will call game mode chooser. And now what we're doing is we're creating an inventory. No inventory holder, just doesn't really matter. 9. This means that there will be 9 slots for there will be 9 slots for items. The number in there needs to be a multiple of 9. So there are 9 slots per row, so you could have 9, 18, 27, 36, so on and so forth. But you can't just say, I want 3 or 10. It has to be a multiple of 9. And then we're giving it a title, game mode chooser, and that's the title for the inventory. Now we can go ahead and create our item stacks. And to make this easier, I'm going to go ahead and create a method, private item stack, create item. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take an item stack item, or no, actually, we're going to want to take a material mat for the material that we want the item to be. And then we're going to want to take a, and you know what, I'm going to change this because we want, alright, for this, we're going to be using wool colors, so you're going to want to take wool, I'm sorry, we're going to want to take a dye color, which represents a color that wool could be dyed, and because each of these is going to be a different wool. And then we want to take a string, which is the name, and I believe that's it. So import dye color. Then what we're going to want to do is item stack I equals new item stack new wool. I think we put DC in there, and 1. And I think that's correct. No. Let me see. Dot. And then we want to do dot 2 item stack. And what is wrong with this? Oh, I'm sorry. So what we want to do is we want to do dot 2 item stack, and you can give it a number. So if I want 2 of these, then I can do 2, but in this case we only want 1. So we're creating a new wool using the dye color, which, you know, red, blue, green, whatever. Then we're getting it as an item stack. Then we're going to say item meta im equals I dot get item meta. Then we're going to do, and I don't remember if I made a tutorial on item meta. I think I did, but I'm not sure. Then we're going to want to do im.set display name. And now we can also do, you can also set the lore. The lore is basically the text that goes under it. So we could even say set lore, and it takes a list string. So what we can do is we can say arrays.to, sorry, we're going to say maybe it's collections now let me figure this out. It's arrays.as list, and then we want to, let's take a look. Okay. And then we can basically give it our parameters. So we want to give it, we can say set your game mode, and then in a new line 2, name dot 2 lowercase mode. Because the name is either going to be creative, survival, or adventure. So it's going to say set your game mode, new line, 2, creative mode, survival mode, adventure mode. And so then what we're doing is we're doing this arrays.as list, and we're giving it a few strings, and it's turning it into an array, and we're setting the lore to our new array. Then we need to do I.set item meta im, because now we've changed it, and now we need to set it. Then we can now say return I. So now we can go right here, C equals create item, dye color dot, for creative we'll give it green, and creative. And then we can say S equals create item dye color dot yellow, and we'll call this survival. And A equals create item dye color dot red. and we'll call this adventure. Okay. So now what we're going to want to do is we have our menu class, and we have an inventory set up, and we have our items. We, of course, need to do inv.addItem, C, inv.addItem. And even better than adding it, you can also, if you want to change where it is, you can say set item. And let's say we want to space them out evenly. So I think we want to make this 2, and then C, and then I think we want to set, I'm not completely sure. I'm just going to go ahead and guess here. I don't think that's correct, but we can change it later. So then we're putting the items in the inventory. Then we can go ahead and have a public void show player P. So when we want to show a player the inventory, import player, we do p.open inventory inv. And the reason why we are doing this is because our inventory is private and it's just easier to write a show method. So now what we need to do is we need to register our listeners so that we can tell when our creative, survival, and adventure are clicked. So let me see how we're doing on time. Alright, this is going to be a long video. The easy way to do this is to create another class. This is an event, and then you can register the event. And the event is very specific. So let's go ahead and give this a try. We're going to call it a menu click event. Maybe a menu item click event. And this is going to extend event, because this is an event, org.bukkit.event. Then you need to add the unimplemented methods. Yes, I believe so. Actually, we don't even need this to extend event. I mean, you could, but it doesn't really make a difference. So, the menu click event, this is going to represent an event, and we want to do private item stack clicked, because we want to know we want to know what was clicked, and we also need to do the player clicker. So, because we need to know who clicked the item. I believe that is all we need. And you know what we can actually do? Extends inventory click event. Because there actually is an event called the inventory click event. So we want this. Alright. We're going to do this a different way. Sorry, I'm not completely prepared for this. Just ignore what I said about the event. It's just going to be easier if we hard code the events. So what we're going to want to do is our menu class, we're going to want to implement listener. And then we're going to set up an event at event handler. Public void on inventory click. And this is an inventory click event E. So now we have our inventory click event right here. And what we're going to want to do is exclamation point e.getInventory.equals inv. Because we're checking if the inventory that was clicked is not equal to our inventory. So if they didn't click our inventory, then, you know, just return. It doesn't matter. We are then going to say if e.get e.get who clicked e.get current item, I believe is what we want. So if e.get current item .get item meta .get name gets name, no, sorry, it's .get display name equals ignore case survival. And it can actually be yeah, because what we can actually do is we can set it to be like if we want it to be creative in green, then we can actually do that. And if we want survival to be in yellow, you can change the color. So there we go. And then instead of equals ignore case, we want to say contains. It's just easier to do it that way. So if the current item contains survival, so if it's survival, then get, I think it's get who clicked dot set game mode dot survival. And then you could do get who clicked dot send. Okay, so we need to alright, so it will, set their game mode. Then we can go ahead and copy this for creative and adventure. So creative, survival, and adventure. Creative, survival, and adventure. Okay, this looks to be pretty good. One thing that we just want to do is we're going to want our menu constructor to take a plugin, because we're going to actually register the events right in here. It's just easier. Bukkit.getServer.gets plugin manager.register events. This comma p. Alright, now we're going to have our menu inv main class, which will extends Java plugin. Alright. Now, honestly, the easiest way to go about doing this is I'm going to go ahead and make an event where if the player right-clicks in the air, it will show them the menu, just so I don't have to write a command and register it. But you can make it so if they right-click an item, if they type a command, when they first join, whatever you want to do. So, public void on player interact. And this is a player interact event. And we're going to say if exclamation point e dot get action equals action dot right click air return, and we're also going to want to do a private menu equals and then so we're going to want to have an instance of our menu, and then in our on enable we can say menu equals new menu this. Because if we try to initialize it before on enable, we're giving it a plugin, but the plugin isn't initialized yet, and then it really won't work. So now we have an instance of our menu class, and then we can just say menu dot show e dot get player. And we also need to do Bukkit.getServer.get plugin manager.register events this comma this, and make sure that we implements listener. Import that. That looks about it. So let's go ahead and steal a plugin.yml. Take out our command, and we will call this menu inv. And me.post29.menuinv.menuinv. Change your game mode with a menu. Good. Now let's go ahead and export this as a jar file, menuinv. Okay. Let's head on over to our testing server and start that up. And this should be running 1.6.2. Good. Let's go ahead and launch Minecraft 1.6.2. And let's hit play. Alright. Now let's go ahead and join our local host. And, okay. So, now let's go ahead and give it a try. As you can see, I'm currently in survival mode because I can break blocks and I can't fly. So, if I right-click the air, then it did not work. Let's see why. That is quite odd. It should, when I right-click the air, it should, okay, then let's try it if we, right-click a block. Just for an example. And there we go. So I have now right-clicked a block, and as you can see, I got this pop-up. They look pretty much aligned, pretty good. And if I hover over it, it will say creative, and it says set your game mode to creative mode. And the reason why it set it in that last part in green is because the name of it is creative mode in green. So you could have this take a dye color and then a chat color, and then you can change it. I'm just not going to waste my time with that. Then there's survival and adventure. So if I click on creative, we forgot to e.set canceled to true. That's very important because we need to cancel it, otherwise they'll just take the item. So let's export that and give it another try. Alright. Now we can right click a block, and if I click on creative, it's not working. Let's see why it's not working. Okay, the event is registered. I believe that the problem... Alright, let me see something. Gets name dot equals lowercase inv dot get name. Alright, so we're going to want to change it. Instead of checking if the inventories are equal, we want to check if the names of the inventories are equal. That should, this should work. Menu line 54. If e.getCurrentItem. Alright, let's give it a try. So if I right click and I click on creative, it says your game mode has been updated and I am now in creative. And one more thing that you might want to do is get it to hide the inventory. So we want to do e.get.whoClicked.close inventory. And this will just close out of the inventory when they are done. And if you had them click with an item, then you could remove the item, or, you know, after they do it, you could teleport them somewhere, whatever you want to do. Alright. So, now let's go ahead and right-click. And I click on creative, and I'm in creative mode. If I click on survival, I'm now in survival. And if I click on adventure, I'm now in adventure. And let's go back to creative. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and fix this. Okay. If e.getCurrentItem equals null, return. That should get rid of the error. I mean, it's not really important. It's just if they click on an item that's not there, like if they click here, it is still giving me that error. 55. Alright, I think we want to do .getItemMeta, probably. Alright, let's reload. Okay. So now you don't get that error anymore, but it does still work. So that is all for this episode. You guys learned how to make an inventory that will give you some items that will trigger events when you click on them. It's definitely a pretty cool thing. It's pretty recent that people have started using it, but there are tons of possibilities as opposed to just commands. You can actually click on items now, which is awesome. So, that is all. As always, subscribe if you want to see more. Comment with what you want to learn. I have a very big and growing daily list of stuff, so I won't run out for a good amount of time. And make sure to send any personal or code, whatever related questions to my email, post29dev@gmail.com, and I will answer them when I get 300 subs, if I get enough people to send questions. Goodbye, guys.